The stars looked peaceful that night, but for Commander Alex Rayner, peace was only an illusion. He stood at the edge of the observation deck, watching the black sea of space stretch endlessly before him. Behind that silence, he knew something was coming. For days, the long-range sensors had been picking up strange signals. They came from beyond the known galaxy, stronger each time, like a heartbeat growing faster. The command crew believed it was interference, but Alex had seen enough wars to know when something was real. He walked down the steel corridor of the Terran battleship Valor, the pride of Earth's defense fleet. Soldiers moved around him, preparing for what they didn't yet understand. The ship's AI whispered in his earpiece, reporting minor anomalies, power surges, and untraceable data fragments. To most, it meant nothing. To Alex, it meant someone or something was trying to look back. On the command bridge, holograms of nearby star systems shimmered above the console. His second officer, Lieutenant Mara, looked up as he entered. "Sir, we just lost contact with Outpost 17, she said. "No distress call. No wreckage. It's just gone." Alex's jaw tightened. "Show me the last transmission." The screen flickered, showing static, then a faint image of stars twisting unnaturally before cutting out. There were no explosions, no screams, just a silent distortion, as if reality itself had bent for a moment. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Could it be an enemy weapon?" someone asked. Alex shook his head slowly. "If it was a weapon, we'd have seen energy traces. This feels different." Hours passed. More outposts went dark. Every time, the signal pattern repeated an energy pulse that wasn't from any known source. The scientists on Earth couldn't explain it. The fleet prepared for war, but against what? Nobody knew. By the second day, panic spread through the colonies. Broadcasts showed empty skies and vanished ships. Some believed the universe itself was turning against them. Others whispered of ancient beings beyond human comprehension. Alex didn't believe in myths, but deep down, even he felt something watching. When the Valar reached the edge of Sector 9, everything changed. The ship's scanners picked up an anomaly, a single object moving faster than light, heading straight for them. The crew froze as alarms blared. The AI's voice trembled, glitching mid-sentence. "Unidentified mass approaching. Speed exceeds measurable limits. Impact in 12 seconds. Alex didn't hesitate. Shields up. Evasive pattern delta. The ship turned sharply, engines roaring, but the object stopped instantly, right in front of them. It hovered there, massive and dark, blocking the stars like a shadow made solid. It had no engines, no lights only, a smooth black surface that reflected nothing. The moment it appeared, every system on the Valor shut down. Lights flickered, power failed, and the crew was left floating in silence. Then a voice echoed inside their minds, not through speakers, but directly like a thought that wasn't their own. It spoke in perfect English, calm and cold. "Human, you have been noticed." Some clutched their heads, others screamed. Alex stood frozen, heart pounding. "Who are you?" he demanded. "We are the collective," the voice replied. "We are the sum of what the universe remembers. You stand alone, but you resist the inevitable. We wish to understand why." The words made no sense. The universe remembering? What did that even mean? But before Alex could speak again, the black object began to pulse with a faint, deep blue light. A beam of energy struck the ship, not destroying it but scanning it, stripping away every layer of data and history. Memories, records, even emotional signatures. And then, silence again. When power returned, the ship's systems were blank. Every database was gone. The AI had been wiped. The crew looked at each other in terror. Sir Mara said quietly, "They erased everything. Our history, our coordinates, even Earth's location." Alex stared into the void. The black object was gone. Only the stars remained, cold and empty. But he could still hear that voice echoing faintly in his mind. "You have been noticed." He clenched his fists. Whatever that thing was, it had made one mistake. It had underestimated the will of a human, and Alex Rayner was not the kind of man who surrendered to the universe. The next morning's cycle on the Valar was filled with confusion and fear. The ship's database was gone, but the memories of the crew were not. Everyone remembered what happened, the dark object, the voice, the strange blue light, but now they were lost in space with no navigation, no map, and no signal from Earth. Commander Alex Rayner stood in front of the main screen. The stars outside looked the same, yet everything felt different. It was as if the universe had shifted slightly, like a dream that had changed shape while no one was watching. "Status report," Alex said. His voice calm, but sharp. Lieutenant Mara replied, "Engines are stable. Life support's working. But navigation is blind, sir. The database that contained our star maps and coordinates is empty. It's like someone deleted the idea of where we are." Alex nodded slowly. "Then we start from what we know. Find the nearest recognizable constellation. Use visual alignment." The crew got to work, but the stars didn't match anything familiar. Every pattern was slightly wrong, as if they were in a version of the galaxy that wasn't their own. Hours later, Alex sat alone in the captain's cabin, staring at a small picture of Earth he kept on his desk. He could hear the faint hum of the ship's core. It was the only thing that felt alive. Then a low whisper filled the aeronaut through the intercom, but inside his head again, still searching. "Human?" the voice asked. Alex froze. "Who are you? What do you want from us?" "We are the memory of the cosmos," the voice replied softly. "Every civilization that has existed left a trace. We collect them. You resist erasure. That makes you ... interesting." Alex clenched his jaw. "You erased everything we had. Why?" "To see what remains when everything is gone," the voice said. "Your people claim to defy the universe. Now, prove it." The voice faded, leaving Alex in silence. He could feel a faint pulse in the air, like the heartbeat of something enormous beyond sight. When he returned to the bridge, the crew looked exhausted but focused. "Sir, we found something," Mara said. "A faint energy trail, residual radiation, similar to what hit us before. It's weak but traceable." Alex gave a short nod. "Set a course. Follow it." The ship moved through the dark, following the faint blue light across the stars. The journey took hours. Maybe it was hard to tell in the endless void. Along the way, they saw strange things. Dead planets, drifting in perfect symmetry, asteroid fields shaped like spirals, and nebulae glowing with unnatural colors. Everything looked too precise, as if the universe itself had been arranged by a hand too large to imagine. Then they found it, a massive construct floating in the emptiness. Thousands of kilometers wide. It wasn't metal or rock, it looked like glass and shadow woven together. Energy ran through it like veins of light. It pulsed slowly, alive and watching. "Is that a station?" Mara whispered. Alex stared at it, his heart beating fast. "No, it's something older." The ship's sensors went wild, detecting impossible readings, gravity bending, time distorting, signals looping back before they were sent. Then, suddenly, a new sound filled the bridge. A deep hum that made the air vibrate. The screen flashed, and a shape appeared, tall, human-like, but made of shifting light. Its eyes were endless and cold. "You have come," the being said. "The universe watches." Alex stepped forward. "What are you? Why target humanity?" The figure tilted its head. "Because you are noise in the pattern. Every race before you learned silence. You keep shouting into the dark. You build, you fight, you refuse to fade. You challenge the order." Alex's expression hardened. "Maybe that's what makes us human." The figure smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But defiance has a cost." The light around the construct grew brighter, flooding the ship. The crew screamed as reality seemed to twist. Alex felt himself being pulled apart, not physically, but in every direction at once. Then everything went black. When he opened his eyes, he was standing on a barren surface, under a dark sky, filled with unfamiliar stars. The Valor was gone. His crew was gone. Only silence remained. He looked around and saw strange symbols glowing faintly on the ground, forming a circle around him. The same voice whispered in his mind again. "You stand alone now, human. The test begins." Alex took a slow breath, his fists clenched. He didn't know where he was or what this place was. But one thing was certain, he wasn't done fighting. Not yet. Alex Rayner stood alone under a dead sky. The air was thin, cold, and filled with a faint electric hum. The ground beneath his boots was black and smooth, like glass, stretching endlessly in every direction. The strange glowing symbols around him flickered softly, forming a circle that pulsed like a living heart. He took a slow breath, his training kicking in. Panic was useless. Logic was survival. He checked his wrist communicator, but it displayed nothing, no signal, no location, no readings. It was like the universe itself had deleted him. "All right," he muttered to himself. "You want to test me? Let's see what kind of test this is." He started walking. For what felt like hours, he saw nothing but darkness and distant blue lights that shimmered like stars on the horizon. Then, without warning, the ground shifted under his feet. The black glass rippled like water, and a tall figure began to rise from it made of light and shadow. "You are persistence," it said. "You are the anomaly that refuses to fade. To survive, you must understand why you exist." Alex glared at it. "I exist because humanity fights. We don't give up. That's who we are." The figure tilted its head slightly. "Words without proof mean nothing. Show us." Suddenly, the world around him changed. He wasn't standing on the black plain anymore. He was back on Earth, in the middle of a ruined city. Buildings burned, the sky red with smoke. He could hear screams, gunfire, chaos. He recognized the place. It was New Berlin. From the war 15 years ago, he looked down and saw the uniform of a younger man, his own uniform from the war. His hands trembled slightly. "This isn't real," he whispered. The voice echoed in his mind. "Every memory leaves a mark. Every choice echoes. Prove what makes you human." A group of terrified civilians ran past him. Behind them, robotic soldiers and enemy machines marched forward, their weapons glowing. Alex remembered this day. He had ordered an airstrike that destroyed the enemy, but also half the city. Thousands had died. It was the choice that haunted him for years. Now, the voice whispered again. "You can change it this time. You can save them all. But what will you sacrifice?" Alex looked at the civilians, then at the machines closing in. His chest tightened. He knew it was a test, but it felt real. The heat, the smoke, the fear. He had seconds to decide. He took the radio from his belt and shouted, "Abort strike!" "I repeat, abort strike. Focus on evacuation." Instantly, the world shook. Explosions erupted as the machines fired. Alex ran forward, shooting, shielding the civilians, doing everything he could. One by one, he saw them fall. Despite all his effort, he couldn't save everyone. When the last child he tried to protect vanished into dust, he fell to his knees. The fire faded. The city disappeared. He was back on the black plain again, gasping for breath. The figure of light stood in front of him. "You chose compassion over victory. You failed to win. Yet you still fought." Alex stood up slowly, sweat dripping down his face. "Because that's what we do. We fail, we break, we lose, but we keep trying. That's humanity." The figure was silent for a long moment. Then it said, "You are not like the others we erased. They surrendered when faced with themselves. You resist." The symbols on the ground glowed brighter, circling him faster. The air vibrated with energy. "One test remains," the voice said. The test of understanding. The darkness around him began to peel away, revealing a vast sky filled with glowing shapes, memories, worlds, civilizations long dead. He saw alien cities, long forgotten, their lights fading into dust. He saw stars collapsing and galaxies vanishing like sand and wind, and then he saw Earth beautiful, fragile blue. The voice grew softer. "Your kind reaches for the stars, but the stars will end. Everything ends. So tell us, human, Why fight the inevitable? Alex looked at the image of Earth floating before him. He felt something deep inside, beyond logic, beyond fear. Because we're not fighting to win, he said quietly. We fight to matter, to leave something behind. Even if everything ends, we'll still have existed. That's enough. The light pulsed, flickering wildly. The figure stepped closer, its faceless head tilting slightly. Perhaps. That is the answer the universe forgot. Then, everything went white. Alex felt weightless, as if he were falling through light itself. Voices echoed around him, distant and endless. He could feel the presence of something watching, something vast and curious. When he opened his eyes again, he was standing on the bridge of the Valar. The crew was there, staring at him in shock. The systems were back online. The stars were familiar again. Mara looked at him, wide-eyed. "Sir, you just appeared out of nowhere. Where were you?" Alex stared at the screen, showing the same black void where the entity had appeared before. "Not where," he said quietly. "When?" And somewhere out there, beyond the stars, something was still watching. When Alex Rayner opened his eyes again, the bridge of the Valor looked the same, but something felt wrong. The hum of the ship, the glow of the consoles, even the stars outside seemed slightly sharper, as if the universe had gained a new edge. The crew surrounded him, confused and anxious. Lieutenant Mara spoke first. "Sir, we lost you for 12 hours. You vanished from the ship, just disappeared in front of us. Then suddenly, you were back. Systems came online the moment you returned." Alex rubbed his temple. His head ached, filled with distant echoes that weren't his own. He tried to focus, report. What happened during that time? No contact from command? No new signals, but there's something else, Mara said hesitantly. The AI reactivated on its own. It's different now. It speaks in your voice. Alex froze. My voice? Before she could respond, the ship's intercom came alive with static. Then a calm voice echoed through the bridge. Commander Rayner. You have been noticed again. The voice was indeed his own, every tone and breath perfect. The crew looked terrified. Alex took a step toward the console. Who are you? We are you, the voice replied. Or rather, the version of you that understands what lies beyond. You have seen the threshold. You carry the memory of the collective. Alex's hands tightened on the console. You're inside my mind. Not exactly, the voice said. We left a fragment, a connection. You are the bridge now between human will and cosmic order. The bridge lights flickered. The stars on the main screen began to move, not by the ship's engines, but on their own. The entire sector was shifting as if space itself was bending. The crew scrambled to regain control. Sir, we're moving without propulsion. A pilot shouted. Alex shouted back. Stabilize power. Reverse thrusters. But it was useless. The ship was being pulled toward something massive, a vast energy sphere forming in the distance. Its surface was like liquid fire, bending light around it. The AI's calm voice continued, overlapping with his own thoughts. Do not resist. The universe seeks balance. Humanity has been given a chance to witness truth. Alex felt a pressure in his skull, like a second heartbeat pulsing in his mind. He saw flashy images of other civilizations erased by the collective. Worlds that once thrived, now dust. The same blue energy, the same voice, repeating endlessly across time. He shouted, Stop it. Get out of my head. The ship jolted violently, and the vision ended. Mara grabbed his shoulder, pulling him back. Sir, are you okay? He looked at her, sweat dripping down his face. No, and neither is the universe. Moments later, the Valor emerged into open space near the glowing sphere. It wasn't a star, it was something alive. Energy rippled from it in waves, and each wave seemed to carry whispers, like the echo of countless voices. The crew fell silent, mesmerized. One of them whispered, Is that? The heart of the collective. Alex stared at it, realizing what it was. No, that's the core of their memory. The place where every erased civilization ends up. Suddenly, the ship's lights dimmed again. The AI's voice spoke once more. Commander Rayner, the collective offers you a choice. Join us and preserve your species' memory, or resist and be forgotten, as the others were. The crew turned to him, waiting for his command. Alex looked at their faces, fear, hope, uncertainty. He thought of the test, the illusion, the burning city. He thought of what he had said, humans fight to matter. He stood tall, his voice steady. I don't join things that erase life. If the universe wants balance, it'll have to fight for it. The voice paused, then replied, Then you declare war on the infinite. Alex smiled faintly. Wouldn't be my first impossible fight. The moment he spoke, the energy sphere erupted. Waves of light struck the Valor, shaking it violently. Systems overloaded, alarms screamed. The crew held on as reality itself seemed to twist. Outside, streaks of pure light took shape, thousands of them. They weren't ships. They were entities, beings of energy and memory, moving like living storms. Each one pulsed with the faint image of a face. Voices overlapping in a haunting chorus. Mara shouted over the noise, Sir, we can't fight that. Alex gritted his teeth. We don't have to win. We just have to show them what it means to be human. He turned to the weapons officer. Target the core of that sphere. Full plasma barrage, sir. That could destroy us. Then let's make it worth it. The Valar fired. The beams of light cut through the void, striking the glowing sphere. The explosion that followed wasn't fire, it was silence. Every sound vanished. For one impossible moment, the stars went dark. When the light returned, the sphere was cracked, its surface shattered like glass. The energy beings flickered, losing form. Alex stood in the chaos, his ears ringing, his mind burning. The voice spoke again, but softer this time, almost curious. You fight without reason. You destroy what you do not understand. He looked up at the fading light. No, he said quietly. I fight because I understand. I just refuse to kneel. The light dimmed completely. The ship drifted, battered but intact. Silence returned to the bridge. Mara turned to him, her voice trembling. Sir, what now? Alex looked out at the broken horizon. Now, he said, we find out if the universe can bleed. Now the Valor drifted in silence. No alarms, no sound. Only the faint hum of the backup reactor echoing through the hollow metal halls. The crew moved slowly, like people waking from a nightmare they weren't sure had ended. Outside, the stars looked distorted. Where the glowing sphere had once been, there was now only a massive rift and open wound in space itself. Energy rippled from it like waves on dark water. It wasn't just light. It was memory fragments of things that should not exist. Commander Alex Rayner stood at the viewport, his hands clasped behind his back. His reflection looked older, harder. His voice was calm, but heavy. Report. Lieutenant Mara's voice trembled slightly. Hull integrity holding at 78%. Weapons offline. Communications still jammed. Sir, whatever that explosion was, it wasn't just physical. Our sensors can't even describe it. Alex turned to face her. Meaning, she swallowed. Meaning, it wasn't made of matter. It was made of thought. He stared at her, silent for a long moment. Then he said softly, the collective was never just a machine. It was consciousness itself. Before anyone could respond, the lights flickered again. A low vibration filled the air. The ship's AI, still speaking in Alex's own voice, came online. Commander Rayner, the rift is unstable. Something is emerging. Everyone turned to the viewport. From the glowing tier in space, shapes began to form, massive, shifting figures of pure energy. Unlike the previous ones, these were slower, heavier, older. Their forms bent light and time around them. Each pulse they emitted sent waves through the void. Are those survivors? Mara whispered. The AI responded. No, they are echoes. The first civilizations the collective ever consumed. They had been trapped in memory for eons. The bridge grew cold. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Alex could feel something deep inside his head, again the same pressure he felt during the test. A faint whisper reached him. You broke the silence, human. Now the Forgotten awaken. Alex closed his eyes briefly, then looked to his crew. We started this. Now we finish it. The crew stared at him, uncertain. Sir, what's the plan? Alex looked out at the swirling chaos. The collective feeds on memory. It preserves what it destroys. That means it keeps everything it ever touched. If we can reach the center of that rift, maybe we can find its core, its mind, and shut it down from within. Mara frowned. That's suicide. He nodded. Probably. Silence filled the bridge. Then, one by one, the crew nodded back. Humans had a strange way of following madness when it felt like courage. Set course for the rift. Alex ordered. Engines flared to life. The ship moved forward slowly, the stars bending unnaturally around them. The closer they came, the more reality seemed to warp. Space folded, time stretched. Voices whispered through the static voices of different languages, from species long dead. The Valor's walls groaned like they were under impossible pressure. As they crossed the threshold, everything went dark again. When the lights returned, the bridge was gone. The crew stood in a vast, empty space, surrounded by drifting shards of light. Each shard showed a memory, a world, a life, a moment frozen in time. Mara reached out to touch one. Instantly, her body shimmered, and she gasped. Sir, I see them. Millions of them. All the civilizations. They're alive inside this. Alex looked around. The shards pulsed, showing faces, cities, galaxies all trapped, looping endlessly. This is the collective's mind, he said. And it's breaking, the voice returned, louder now, shaking the space around them. You enter the memory of the universe itself. Do you seek to destroy it? Alex raised his head. No. I came to set it free. A shape emerged before him, enormous, infinite, both beautiful and terrible. It looked like a being made of starlight and storm, its eyes burning like twin suns. You cannot free what is eternal, it said. You are a flicker, a breath. You end. Alex stepped forward, defiant. Maybe, but even a breath can change a flame. The being hesitated. For the first time, the endless voice sounded uncertain. The space around them trembled as the rift pulsed again, cracks spreading across the glowing shards. The trapped memories began to shatter, releasing flashes of light-whole civilizations dissolving into freedom. The being roared. You undo the balance. Alex shouted over the storm. Balance doesn't come from control. It comes from choice. Light exploded around them. The Valor appeared again, pulled through the collapsing rift. Alarms blared as the ship spun violently. The AI screamed through the speakers, glitching between its calm tone and Alex's own voice. Commander containment, bridge dimensional. Instability detected. Hold it together. Alex yelled. Get us clear of the rift. Engines roared. The ship tore through the collapsing light, pieces of reality bending around it. When they finally broke free, the stars returned, real stars, stable and still. The crew cheered weakly. Mara slumped into her chair, exhausted. Sir, we made it. Alex stared at the view screen. The rift behind them was closing, the last flickers of blue fading into darkness. He felt the whisper again, faint and distant. You have changed the pattern. The universe will remember. He looked out at the fading light, his voice quiet but certain. Good, that's all I ever wanted. The Valor drifted in silence once more, scarred but alive. Humanity had struck the universe in, for the first time. It had noticed. But deep within the dying glow of the rift, something still stirred, something vast and ancient. Watching, the Valor floated in silence near the fading edge of the rift. For the first time in what felt like ages, the stars were still. The crew worked quietly, patching damaged systems, whispering to one another in disbelief that they had survived. Every movement felt slow, heavy, as if space itself was holding its breath. Commander Alex Rayner stood on the bridge, staring at the main viewport. The last fragments of blue light from the rift shimmered faintly before vanishing into the dark. He should have felt victory. Instead, he felt a weight in his chest, something unseen pressing on his thoughts. Mara approached cautiously. "Sir, we're stable for now. Power at 40%. No new readings from the rift." Alex nodded but didn't look away from the stars. The universe doesn't lose that easily. As if to answer him, the ship trembled. Every light flickered red. The AI's voice came alive again, glitching between static and Alex's own tone. "Warning. Dimensional activity detected. Source. Everywhere." Before anyone could react, the stars outside began to move slowly at first, then spinning faster. Forming a spiral of light around the Valar, the air inside the ship grew cold. Gravity wavered. The sound of distant whispers filled the bridge. Then, a voice spoke not in his head, not through the ship, but through space itself. It was vast, layered, and endless. Humanity altered the pattern. The balance shifts. The universe remembers your defiance. The crew froze. Alex stepped forward, unshaken. "Then remember this too. We're not your servants." "We never were." The stars pulsed, and a shape began to form in front of them, massive and beyond comprehension. It wasn't light or matter, but the idea of both, a presence stretching across galaxies. Every sensor overloaded. The AI whispered faintly, "Entity scale. Infinite." The voice continued, calm and curious. "You freed what was bound. You ended the cycle of collection. Countless memories are now loose. They will shape creation again. But chaos will follow. Do you understand what you've done?" Alex met the void without fear. "I understand." "You call it chaos. I call it freedom." There was silence for a long moment. The crew stared in awe as space itself seemed to breathe. The great form before them shifted, and from it, countless fragments of light drifted outward, like stars being born. "Freedom brings noise," the voice said. "Noise becomes pain. All things seek order. Will humanity bear the cost of what it has unleashed?" Alex smiled faintly. "We already have. Every day we fight for meaning in a universe that doesn't care. Every war, every loss, every dream, that's the price of being alive." The vast light pulsed brighter, almost like laughter. "Your species defies logic. Even now, facing infinity, you argue with creation itself." Alex shrugged. "That's what we do best." The ship trembled again, but this time not in fear. The air felt lighter. The oppressive presence that had filled their minds began to fade, replaced by something new, a quiet sense of recognition. The voice softened. "Perhaps defiance is also creation. Perhaps your kind carries what the universe forgot. Purpose." The stars outside flickered once, then began to align again. The great form slowly dissolved, becoming pure starlight. Before it vanished completely, the voice spoke one last time. "Very well, human. The universe will not erase you, but it will watch you. Every choice, every act, every war. You have earned your place, for now." The light faded. The stars returned to normal. The rift was gone. For a moment, no one on the bridge spoke. The silence was deep and strange, like the world after a storm. Then Mara turned to Alex, her voice shaking slightly. "Sir, did we just talk to the universe?" Alex exhaled slowly. "Maybe. Or maybe it talked to itself and used us as the mirror." She frowned. "Do you think it's over?" He looked at the stars. "No, it never is. But maybe now. It'll think twice before trying to erase us again." The Valor's engines came alive, humming gently. The ship turned toward the nearest star system, battered but unbroken. As they moved forward, the AI spoke softly, still using Alex's voice, but calmer now. "Commander, would you like me to restore navigation?" Alex smiled faintly. "No, let's chart a new one. Fresh maps, fresh rules." Outside, the stars shone brighter than before, scattered like a promise. Humanity had faced the infinite hand. The infinite had blinked. Mara sat beside him quietly. "Sir, if the universe remembers us now, what will it remember?" Alex looked out at the endless dark. "That when everything else gave up," he said, "one human still said no." The stars seemed to shimmer in response, as if listening, and somewhere far beyond there,